Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today I'm going to be sharing a brand review of Uniqlo, and this is part of my series where every single month I am reviewing another brand in detail, one that I have generally owned and shopped from multiple times before. So what I've got here on the rail next to me is a whole bunch of items which have been in my closet for a while. I've also got some items in storage which I'm going to just briefly touch on, and I'll show some photos on screen. And I also went in store so that I could try on some of the new season styles, as I really liked the most recent drop from the Uniqlo U collection and I wanted to go and see it in person. I'm just going to dive right into it, but at the end I will share some general thoughts on Uniqlo as a brand. So first piece on my rail is a t-shirt, and I did do an entire video on the best basic tees. This one here is, I assume it's from the Uniqlo U line. I'm not 100%. I'm sure it would be, just as those are sort of my preferred from the brand. I think that they're really high quality. The Pima cotton that they use is really nice. I don't really find that they warp or twist or anything like that when you put them in the wash. And this one is another one that's held up really well. It's a beautiful stone color, and that's definitely one thing that Uniqlo does very well, is their color selection. And I feel like every single season, in addition to the core colors, there's generally some really beautiful seasonal options, though they do lean on the cooler end of the spectrum. So if you are someone who tends to prefer warmer colors, you may find it a little bit tricky to find something that suits your skin tone or your complexion. This one I have in the medium, and I feel like it's a good sort of a relaxed fit. I'll try and link this exact one below, but I do know the Uniqlo U line, they tend to sort of cycle in and out different styles, but I think in terms of cut, fit, value for money and price, Uniqlo is definitely a brand that can't be beat. I do also really like the ones from Arket as well. I think that they're great, but I know they don't ship everywhere, so I think Uniqlo is a lot more accessible, hence why I continue to recommend their tees. But yeah, it's held up really well, and I don't have anything negative to say about it. It's a t-shirt, it's a classic, and if you want to know more, go watch that Best Basics video. Next I have a cashmere knit. Now this one's actually from the men's section. I do have a women's one, but again it's in storage, so you have to bear with me. But if you want to see how that fits, then you can watch that in my Best Basics cashmere video, because I'm wearing the women's one in that. But this I have in a size large because I wanted something that was very oversized, and this is definitely where I will always say go and check out the men's section. I find a lot of the men's styles at Uniqlo actually work quite well, especially if you're someone who's my height. I'm 172 centimeters tall, so I can generally get away with those slightly more oversized and boxy silhouettes. As far as cashmere goes, I think that this is really nice. Here in Australia, a cashmere crew from Uniqlo is, I believe, $150, which I think is kind of pretty standard across the spectrum in terms of pricing for something like this. It's not super thick, but it's also not super lightweight, and it's going to keep you really nice and warm and toasty. I've washed mine, I've laundered them so many times. I actually just put them in the wool wash setting in a delicates bag in our washing machine, and they always come out really fine. They end up getting a little bit more sort of fluffy and snuggly, which I like, and that's one of the qualities about cashmere that I'm really drawn to. I haven't had any shrinkage or anything like that either, and I don't have any holes in this, and that's definitely a really great thing, and something I want to kind of mention about some of their other knits that I've owned. The quality is 100% there. The only thing to note, and this is just a standard rule of thumb when it comes to cashmere knits, is that generally they are going to pill regardless of how much money you've spent on them. So it's a really wise idea to make sure that you have stocked up your maintenance kit, and that you have either a fabric shaver or a cashmere comb, so that you can really care for your sweater and keep it looking in tip-top shape. So cashmere knits, I mean, look, if you're based in the US or you are quite happy to use mail forwarding, in terms of getting really great value for money, I think Quince is probably the best. Also, Nardam do a slightly more affordable cashmere knit, but if Uniqlo is easily accessible to you, they always have great colors, and I don't think that you can go wrong. It is definitely one of the items from the brand that I would 100% recommend. Which I want to talk about an item from the brand that I would not recommend at all. It is their fine merino knit sweaters. These are really lightweight and thin. I didn't try one on when I went in store, and I don't have any that I can show you here, but my husband used to purchase these every single year, and he would always have to buy a new one. He couldn't wear the ones that he'd worn the previous year again because they would be so worn in terms of actually having holes in them, and this is despite putting them in a garment bag in the washing machine. They just did not wear well. I found that the textural quality of the fabric was not maintained through wash and wear, which is something that is important to me. I want the integrity of my items to hold up over time, as opposed to looking like they've been worn worn when you've only had them in your closet for 12 months. I just don't think that's quite right. So I would say steer clear of the fine knit merinos, but if you do have a little bit more money that you can spend or put towards your wardrobe budget for the season, go for the cashmere knits. Next I want to mention 2 pairs of trousers, and again, if you've been a long time subscriber of mine, then you will have seen me talk about these. They're called the Smart Easy or Easy Pant. I will make sure I've linked the correct ones below. These are fantastic if you want something for the office that is reasonably inexpensive, and the best part is that they actually have an in-house tailoring service at Uniqlo, so if you are more on the petite end of the spectrum, you can easily get them taken up without having to go to an additional tailor, and I find the turnaround is pretty quick as well. I'm not 100% sure, but you might also be able to take advantage of this online as well. Now I have these in a size small, which is a waist 26 to 27 inch, and I will say that right now I'm a true 26 in jeans. They do feel a little bit on the snug side on me, and I'm not sure if that's just because I'm a little bit curvy around the hips. So I would say if you are more of a pear shape, you might like to go up a full size just so that they're not super tight and you do have a little bit of give and movement around the hip area. But the quality of them, again, it is fantastic. I think you get really good value for money with these trousers. They feel really nice. They look a lot more expensive than they actually are. And these ones, they don't even have a button fly closure. So they're really easy to just pull on and off. And I think they work really well as a double duty piece for work to weekend. So one that I will forever recommend, and I just don't think you can go wrong with these. And actually sort of in the same vein are these other trousers. I'm not 100% sure on the style, but it's essentially the same as the Smart Easy Pant, but these ones are a little bit more elevated in the fact that they have a zip fly closure, and then they don't have the elasticated waistband at the back, but there is a little bit of give to the fabric. These are also much thicker as well. They almost feel like a wool flannel. I like the fact that they have that texture to them, because to me these feel like a really appropriate option for the colder months. And again, one of the things that you kind of can't go wrong with when it comes to trousers from Uniqlo is the fact that they have a lot of different colors. So generally you'll be able to find something that you like, whether you want a pattern or you want a really classic block color. And the other thing I like is that these do have the ironed seam down the front, which always makes your trousers look a little bit more expensive and elevated. So those are the trousers from Uniqlo, the 2 that I would 100% recommend. And like I said, I think if you're wanting something that will take you from work to weekend, you really can't beat these at all, especially not for the price. I think these Smart Easy trousers are $50, so that's a bargain in my eyes. Also on my rail, I have a men's jacket here. So as I was referring to earlier, I think the men's section is a great place to shop if you are sort of my height or you want something that's a little bit more boxy and oversized. This is from the Jill Sander collaboration with Uniqlo, which has definitely been one of my favorites over the years, that plus everything that Christopher Lemaire does. This one is from 2021. However, I saw they had a similar one for 2022. I think there were just some very, very minor style differences. I got this in a medium. It's a really lovely double-faced wool. I don't find it particularly itchy, but I do think if you had very sensitive skin, you may find it ever so slightly. It does have that sort of woolen texture to it when you touch it with your hands, but again, the quality of it is fantastic. It's superb really, and I don't have any pilling on this one at all. I always get asked questions about it as well whenever I wear it, and yeah, it's just been such a favorite of mine, so I can't speak highly of this enough. And I think probably one of the things you can see just with the items that I've shared is that there is a real common thread of them being great quality, really good basics, and the sorts of things that you would wear over and over again. A couple of the other areas where I feel like I've struck gold when it comes to clothing at Uniqlo has been with their outerwear. I have a really beautiful oversized pig coat which I bought last year. It is wool as well, and that's definitely my top tip, is to really keep an eye on the fabric composition, because not all of their outerwear and actually not all of the items and styles that they have are created equal, and some will feel and look nicer than others. So it's generally a matter of going in store or just keeping an eye out for those little details online. I also really like their denim, and I did go in store and try on a couple of styles, so you'll see how those look on me very, very shortly. But I find that the quality of the denim is always really fantastic. It's really sturdy and robust, and it doesn't feel cheap. It actually feels like you're getting incredible value for money, and they're some of the best and affordable jeans that I have ever come across. And also their linen shorts, which again, this is something that I've got in storage, but I will try and put a photo on screen of my favorite ones. They are a cotton linen blend if memory serves me, and this particular style has this little ruched elasticated section at the back, so they're very, very comfortable, especially if you're planning on indulging. Now let's kind of talk through some of the styles that I actually tried on in store, and I want to start with the two that I ended up taking home with me. I really love them so much that I didn't want to leave the store without them. Now, you've probably heard me say that the last thing I need in my wardrobe are more stripes. However, this particular item I purchased as a replacement for something that wasn't quite right. So again, this is an area which I find Uniqlo does really well. They're 100% cotton and also reasonably priced. And that's kind of the key touch point with this brand. So this is the Briton Stripe top. I really like the way that the stripes are positioned, the fact that there is this really large block of color here and then also at the top of the sleeves. And this exact detail I feel is a little bit different to other Briton Stripe tops that I've come across. This one here I've got in the size small, and you will see from the video and the try on that it does have more of a wider open style neckline, and it is reasonably long as well. Like, this comes down to the top of my thigh, which I like, and it has a little splits at the side too. Now, this is priced at $30, which I think is very reasonable for an item like this, especially something that is so classic and that you're actually probably going to have in your wardrobe for years. It came in a lot of different colors too. I tried on the white with the red stripe and also the reverse navy with white stripe as well, but there was a lighter blue, I believe there was a green and a yellow, so definitely a lot of choice if you want to play around with color, and or maybe you just really love stripes. Then the other item that I ended up purchasing is a pair of trousers, and again, this is definitely an area in my wardrobe where I have enough, I have an abundance. However, the reason why I ended up taking these home with me is because of the color. I've been really wanting to incorporate a little bit more color into my wardrobe this year, but in a subtle, more subdued way. I find a lot of my basics, like I'm wearing right now, are in sort of white, cream, gray, navy, and black. And I definitely want to shift away from that. I want to have a little bit more fun with what I'm wearing while still keeping it reasonably neutral. And these definitely ticked that box very nicely. So these are called the Baker pants, and these are part of the Uniqlo U collection, and there's a few reasons why I like them. So they are a barrel style trouser, which I think is great if you are more of a pear shaped or you're sort of wider around the hips, because you're going to have a bit more fabric across that area, which is really nice. But these are fabulous if you have a really small waist, because, and hopefully you're going to see it from the cutaways, they have these snaps here at the side so that you can adjust the fit. So you can either have it on the first snap, which is just the regular waist. I got these in a waist 25, by the way, or else you can tighten them so that they're a little bit more cinched in. So fabulous if that's something that you always struggle with, and COS is actually another brand that does this as well. So they're kind of, the color is called olive, but it's more of a petrol blue or petrol green, should I say, very desaturated. Now, they do feel like they've got a little bit of stretch to them, but they are 100% cotton, so do keep that in mind. They're really nice, sturdy, robust cotton twill, almost feels a little bit like a denim, but much smoother to the touch. In terms of price, they were $60, which I think is really reasonable for something like this and of this quality and thickness. And also that again is another classic. They come in a few different colors, and on sizing, like I said, I'm a true size AU8 or a 26 in jeans, and I found the 25 fit me best. And a common theme, at least with their more denim style of pants and some of their trousers as well, I do often find that they are a little bit on the larger side in terms of the way that they are cut. The next item I tried on is the hooded trench coat from the new Uniqlo U collection. This retails for $200 and I'm wearing it in the size small. I really like the beige color, and I believe it also came in black from memory. It's more of an oversized, relaxed fit, and I do like the fact that it is a MAC style trench coat or MAC style jacket, and then it has the hood. It is 100% cotton, but it's coated, so it should be fairly water resistant. I'm not going to go ahead and say waterproof without actually putting it to the test. I thought that this was a really nice iteration or a really nice version of what it is. You can get things like this absolutely anywhere, but if you like the style, the fact that it does have the hood, then it could be a really nice option for you if you do live in a climate where it is a little bit drizzly, or you might want to sort of protect your head from the rain and the elements. As someone who has a lot of coats coats and jackets, for me this is probably the type of item that I would wait to purchase on sale, but I do think it's a reasonably fair price for what it is. And outerwear is always an area in my closet where I am quite willing to spend a little bit more. The other jacket I tried on is the ultra light down relaxed jacket. I'm wearing it in the color olive, but the lighting in the changing room really just made it look like it was a charcoal. This is actually on sale in store, though the tag didn't have the sale price on it. So I believe it was on sale for $70, but the full retail price was $110. I'm wearing it in a size large as they didn't have any smaller sizes, but I think when you look at it in terms of how it fits on me, it doesn't look like it's necessarily too large. So if you've had your eye on this particular item, I think that you do have a little bit of flexibility in terms of the sizing, and the quilted fabric, or the quilted nature of the fabric, actually reminds me a lot of those Frankie Shop jackets, but I think the style and the silhouette is a lot more flattering because I've tried on those Frankie Shop jackets and I don't know who they look good on, but it's definitely not me. But yeah, I think the price for this is pretty good. Like, it's a liner jacket. It's the type of thing that you're going to wear as your inner layer underneath another jacket, and it is really thin. It has this really kind of soft, squishy quality to it, packs down really small as well. I don't know if you could see in the cutaways that there is this little bag that dangles down, so it's a great one to pack away if you are traveling and going to a colder climate and want to ensure you have enough layers. This is something that Uniqlo does every single year, and they're clearly very popular. They just tend to sort of do variations on the quilting or the stitching on the exterior, which sort of lean into some of those trends that are happening in the moment. Okay, next we have the Lambswool Crewneck sweater. This is 100% wool. I'm wearing it in the navy in a size small, and these retail for $50. These are again another example of a sweater from the brand, which I actually think they do really well. They're quite sort of thick, they're very textured. If you have sensitive skin, steer clear of this sweater because it is not going to feel very comfortable on. I do find that it is a little bit itchy, and you would need to wear a base layer underneath it in order to sort of dispel any of that uncomfortable feeling or sensation on your skin, on your arms. I think these are pretty nice. The cut is really boxy, which I'm hoping you can see from the videos. It is definitely wider at the shoulders than it is at the waist. So if you don't like that kind of fit, or you aren't planning on tucking it into trousers and skirts, then again, it might be one that you want to avoid. Okay, so denim. I first tried on the peg top high-rise jeans. These are $60, which is just an amazing price for a pair of jeans, especially something that has that raw denim indigo rinse, which I think looks really expensive, a lot more so than they actually are. I'm wearing them in the size 25, and I think the cut of these is really nice. I like the fact that they've got the contrast stitching as well, and the length of them is pretty good. I do have more of a petite length inseam, but I don't find these too long or too short for what they are on me. As I mentioned earlier, I do find that many of Uniqlo's trousers fit a little bit more on the larger side, and I did have to size down to a 25, where I'm usually a 26 in jeans. So their denim is definitely very generous. The other pair of jeans that I tried on are the women's baggy jeans, and I really loved these. I know that baggy jeans are having a little bit more of a moment. There's that whole 90s revival, but what I liked about these is the fact that they're not low rise, they're more of a mid rise, which works a lot better with my personal proportions. I'm wearing these in the size 25 with a 31 leg, and I think that they're a really good length to wear with a low heel or even something that's a little bit higher, and they definitely give that illusion of length. Again, the denim quality is superb, and what I've really come to expect from the brand. They're 100% cotton, just like the previous pair, and again, also $60. So I don't think that you can go wrong. I've also had really great experiences with Uniqlo's skinny jeans, and I've tried on some of their mom style jeans in the past as well. It's more or less a sense of finding the right style for you. Next, I tried on a bit of a suiting moment, and I'm trying on the Tailor jacket and the Tailor pants, both in the dark green. Again, they're coming across looking quite grey on camera. Sorry about that. Now, I was drawn to the jacket in particular, and I really liked the way they looked on the model, so I thought I would see how they paired together on me. The trousers are definitely too long, and I would need to get these hemmed, and I would really utilize Uniqlo's in-house tailoring service in order to do that. The blazer is actually something that I think is really nice. I really liked the way that it hung, and also the fit of it as well. I think that it was reasonably oversized without feeling like it was too large or too boxy. I actually thought it was quite flattering. I like the pockets, the fact that it was single-breasted. I just thought it was a nice version of what it is. However, I do want to highlight that it is polyester, and that might not be everyone's preference, and that was the thing that when I looked at it, I thought, this is probably not the one for me. Not only is the exterior polyester, but also the lining is as well. And I think for me to really want to add this to my wardrobe, I would expect to see some sort of wool component in the composition, which there wasn't. So the jacket was $130, and then I think the trousers were around the $60 mark. Now I'm wearing the jacket in a size small, and it fit me in a really nice way. Didn't feel too big, did not feel too small. Again, just reiterating, I'm 172 centimeters tall, so it will look a little bit different if you are on the petite end of the spectrum. The trousers I did wear in the 25, and I thought that they were a really nice fit on me. Where I find the Smart Easy trousers a little bit snug, these ones weren't that at all, and they almost had a little bit of give to them. They felt a little bit more relaxed, and they weren't clingy at all in the thigh either. I just felt with these, as nice as they were in terms of the actual cut, I think that there are better options at Uniqlo which will give you good value for money, and that will allow you to incorporate more of those natural fibers into your wardrobe, especially if that's something that you're really conscious of when you are shopping for anything new. The final item that I tried on while I was in store is the gathered sleeveless shirt in the dark grey. I'm trying this on the size small, and this one retailed for $50. The composition of the fabric is a cotton and nylon blend, so I'm not mad about it, but also it would be nice if it was 100% cotton, just because it is more of a summer appropriate piece and natural fibers are breathable, whereas synthetics aren't. But the thing that I was drawn to with this is really the shoulder detail, and probably a little bit reminiscent of the t-shirt that I'm wearing today. I am finding that I want to incorporate some more stronger silhouettes into my wardrobe, and I like the fact that not only did it have this really interesting almost padded shoulder look without actually having any padding in the shoulders, but also it had this really lovely gathering as well across the shoulder seam, which I thought was really pretty. This is the type of shirt that only looks good tucked in, and I did want to try and convey this when I was in the dressing room, so I also have some footage of how it looks completely untucked. It's very unflattering. It's just a smock shape, very kind of wide and boxy. Because of the fabric, it can be a little bit tricky to get the tuck perfect. So this might be one that you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. I think if you're someone who has a slightly shorter torso, then this is probably going to be a little more suited to you. I really like the contrast buttons though down the center. I thought they were really pretty, but overall I think that this is another one that I would maybe give a miss, but I thought that it was definitely trying and definitely kind of a nice option for a slightly different top, especially if you do tend to gravitate towards a lot of basics. Now, one other item that I wanted to mention, which I didn't try on because it's just not the one for me, is their souffle yarn. This has a really synthetic sort of a texture hand feel to it, which I'm not a fan of at all, and honestly it's probably one of the fabrics that they do that I'm quite happy to steer clear of. I can't even say how it washes, because to me when I touch it, it reminds me a lot of the hand feel of sweaters that have got polyamide in them, which I generally find will shrink ever so slightly or even quite a lot when you wash them, and for that reason I'm really not willing to take the risk. So did want to flag that. I first came across Uniqlo 13 years ago when I went on my big OE. I was in the UK and I stumbled across one of their stores, and I was just completely overwhelmed by the choice and by the color selection. It was really this kaleidoscope of color, lots of brights at the time that I went in, and I'm just never going to forget the visual of the display. It was this entire wall, floor to ceiling, which had cashmere knit sweaters in every single color imaginable, and I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it since. And since then I've shopped the brand all over the world, and I've always found myself coming away with really great basics. I think the key is knowing which areas to buy in and which areas to avoid, and I feel like where they really shine is in their natural fibers. I think the Uniqlo U line, which is designed by Christophe Lemaire, is incredible and definitely great value for money in terms of quite often getting slightly more unique items or just really beautifully tailored pieces, but at a fraction of what you would be paying if you were buying something from his actual line, which is called Lemaire. Uniqlo does have a lot of great things going for it though. So one is color selection, two is unrivaled price for quality. I also really appreciate the fact that across the year they have a number of limited edition collaborations with a range of designers, so there's always something that feels a little bit fresh and new. The only downside to that is that I kind of get this feeling that you have to buy it now or you're going to miss out, and that's definitely not the type of approach I like to take when it comes to adding to my wardrobe. And from that perspective, I do feel like there's a little bit of a fast fashion element to the brand, which will be remiss of me to not include in this video and mention. But yeah, that is Uniqlo. Those are the items that I have. The fact that I've had such incredible luck and such good fortune with the items I've added to my wardrobe from Uniqlo over the years, I think really speaks volumes, and is a reason why I will always recommend it. Even if you DM me asking me where to buy basics from, Uniqlo is typically one of the ones that comes up on my list that I will fire back at you. So yeah, that is Uniqlo. Next month I'm going to be talking all things Jenni Kayne, so do keep your eyes peeled if you would like to see my thoughts on the Jenni Kayne items that I own in my wardrobe. Thank you so much for watching. Do let me know in the comment section below what other brands you would like to see me review, as I am trying to map out which other brands I'm going to discuss for the remainder of the year as well. But yeah, that is it from me. Thank you so much for spending some of your time with me today. I really appreciate it, and I will see you next time with a brand new video. If you're not subscribed, I would love for you to do so. I'd love to see you again, and I will be back next week with a brand new one. See you very soon. Bye.